Hello.
What is up, Facebook world? All the one of you watching it
No,
right
come
now,
on, man.
aka Jordan.
You got to give it a second to get legs.
That's true.
No matter what happens, this is going to be fun because everybody in this room here virtual room, loves Star Wars, and we're sometimes violent about it. So we'll just get off track right away because that's what we do. I was talking to Ryan today on the phone, and he was explaining how he was talking to a tech school, one of the pipeliners, and he said he was explaining it to me, and I was like, "Relax, man. I like Star Wars." Afterwards, go ahead.
He likes Rogue One, like it's his favorite. I couldn't take that.
See Aaron's face. He's like,
Couldn't take that.
Rogue all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's not the best Star Wars movie ever. That's ridiculous.
Well, it's barely a Star Wars movie. It's a really good war movie.
Like train robbery, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's Solo in it.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, my bad. What am I thinking? Yeah. Oh, it's a Dirty Dozen in space.
There you go.
That's what I was calling it. Anyway, now that the audience has gotten huge, I see a couple people on there. Jonathan, what's up? All right.
One fan.
Yes. How did you ask her? I'll just ask her here. Hopefully she's. Well, I said delayed sometimes. The chat's quicker. And did you like the movie? So you went to go see. What'd you go see?
That's a fantastic question.
Damn it. I'm just really focused on the Mandalorian right now. Anyway, it was Mustang versus Ferrari.
Oh,
she went to go see that.
Christian Bale, Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Wow,
Anyway,
this butchering game's all up.
what is it? Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari.
All right, man, relax, chill out.
The first Ford GT that they, I mean, come on, man. Like,
Is that what it was, really? Okay. All right.
Created by Christian Bale.
Okay, there's a couple mechanics in this virtual room here, and it's not us. Okay. And by the way, this is not about mechanics or making me look stupid. Let's throw that out there. All right. Maybe not the latter. The former, definitely.
Jonathan said it was amazing. Bale and Damon will be up for Oscars.
I doubt that,
Sorry,
seriously.
Making bets.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you can attend, Jonathan, because if anybody gets anything out of this, I think it'll be you, because Aaron and Ryan are crazy Star Wars geeks, and they know a lot about the extended universe and things that most people, including myself, don't know about it. Anyway, really, we just wanted to get together. Aaron and I have been talking about this, and I got another buddy, Josh Hammerling, who I hope pops up on the feed. He's also, like Ryan and Aaron, super geeks, like Jonathan's husband, First Sergeant Utzinger. I hope he watches this at some point for me to say that, but he's also an extended universe, and he actually boycotted this latest trilogy, didn't he, Aaron?
yes, it did.
That's right, because they didn't make all the extended universe. What do you call it? Canon.
I mean, you can respect that.
Yeah.
All the books.
It's better than going to see the movies day of and then being like, "Oh, they suck." That's great.
That's true.
Yeah, he's. You gotta expect, like you said, respect the principles. But anyway, I absolutely love the Mandalorian. Guys, what we were thinking about doing. I'm gonna pull this up here for you and I, Jordan. We'll know what's happening, but they won't. Let's just do it this way. Let's just say, what level. I'm going to assume that you guys liked it because you're Star Wars fans. But we'll talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about what that I liked it, because I did, and then we'll just turn the mic over to different people. I really liked the first two episodes. I felt like it had a. I'm not going to go negative. I'm going to stay all positive here, because people were saying they're getting back to the real Star Wars and that kind of nonsense. Star Wars is Star Wars. It did feel more akin to the first trilogy, I'd say, because of the cinematography that they used, the visuals they used. The effects were obviously mostly old school graphics and not as much CGI, just like the latest trilogy is doing. I really respected it. It was so good, man. I because I'm a Star Wars geek and I just say fanatic. I don't look for effects. I don't look for, could I tell that was CGI? I just enjoy it, and I just you just suspend disbelief, as they say. So nothing popped out to me as being a graphic or anything. So that it felt really good. Cinematography, so beautiful. The scenery, everything looked real to me. It all looked like it was this, futuristic planet or this planet somewhere else in the Star Wars galaxy. So I really loved it. But most importantly for me, I loved it because I'm just a crazy Clint Eastwood fan, a Western fan. And as they've been touting it from the very beginning, that's exactly what it is. It's in my opinion, a throwback Western. And I got a couple pics here for you guys. I wanted to show. I didn't want to. Said something to Aaron about it, but I didn't want to show you guys. But I'm going to pull this up real quick. Does that pop up?
Yeah.
Yeah. But look at the similarities here. There's Clint Eastwood and the outlaw Josey Wales. There's the Mandalorian and that first scene in episode 1. I mean, how awesome is that? It's just so similar. And not only that, but this as well. So you have that music, the Clint Eastwood Spaghetti Western music, and you have this. And that's the soundtrack, season 1. So it's sort of a, whatever kind of, Aaron probably knows what it's called, whatever instrument that is, the flute, or that it. I couldn't find a better cut of it, but when they're in that bar scene, you could hear that sort of digital flute, like a dude with some kind of snouts playing it.
Yeah,
but
calling to the taxi.
That's right, yeah. But it's the same kind of flute or whistle sound, and I think that was they weren't trying to hide that. Jon Favreau came out and said that's exactly what we're going for. And then before I turn it over to you guys, I'll say the music overall. A friend of mine said he was underwhelmed by the music, but I love the music. I see that you went like that, Aaron. Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't overwhelmed or like, oh my God, the music kind of thing. Like the original trilogy or any of the stuff that what's his name, Williams, any of the original score stuff that they did. But it seemed to me that it was very purposeful, and it's old Western music, and so it wasn't something he was trying to create something new. He was using the old school stuff. But so those are just a general idea of what I liked about it. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, yeah. So musically, I thought I did the little because a little bit, but at the same time, I'm with you. Like it was nice and bassy. It did. I'm a huge spaghetti western fan. Like Clint Eastwood movies.
Yeah.
They're my go-to anytime I get a chance to. And this music was awesome. I thought you're right. Cinematography was really cool. I thought the opening scene was. That was pulled almost straight out of like an old school western. It
Definitely.
was really cool. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I love the aesthetics of it. It just, God, it's awesome. I don't want to talk about anything else yet. But to go with just what you're doing.
Hey, let's do this, Aaron. Let's do this. Let's stop at a point and we'll go from this point on. It's spoilers.
Okay.
Okay, so keep going.
No, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan.
Okay.
I thought the music was definitely very basic. The opening scene was great with their original score there. Never mind the spoilers, but going seeing that stuff happens and you get a hint of the Force theme.
Too loud.
That was really good. That was fantastic. I loved that because I could hear it and I wanted it to come out because you knew what was happening, but it didn't. So that was awesome. I like because they're trying to also stay a little bit away. And yeah, I like the backstory we're getting with just after Empire stuff. That's awesome to see. You need more in between 6 and 7, so anything we can get I love it.
Okay, that's the next topic. But Jordan, what did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I'm probably the least well-versed in Star Wars in this group. I grew up with it and everything, but just from a cinematic standpoint, watching it and the fact that it was 30 minutes, but you had a whole cinematic universe, even though it is just these short episodes. And the fact that it was the elements of the westerns, and we'll probably bring up the fact that some of the samurai elements came.
Oh, that's true. The fighting was kung fu-ish, samurai-ish, yeah.
It was so cool, and the way that it lended to the development of the character too, which we can get into. It just was really exciting, and I love just the universe, and it really felt like someone that loved the universe was creating this, and that's what was exciting about it, because it's a story that is connected to everything, because it's always connected to everything in Star Wars, but it's unique and it's exciting.
So let's open that up. Then let's segue on that. It's sort of we'll get into some of the education of what the extended universe was, and so after Return of the Jedi, I really liked. A lot of people bag on the opening scene and sort of the Jabba, that the Hutt mafia, the Hutt cartel, if you will. But what a crazy, huge, I want to say universe, but underworld that they could explore. And that's what it felt like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Gritty and I want to say lawlessness, but kind of.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Empire's gone, so it's sort of toughest person prevails. What do you guys think about that feel? Does it feel like post-Empire?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely feels that way. Not only plus the insinuations that they make about it, but that's part of the reason I was excited for Mandalorian, because it was going to really delve into the seedy underworld that is of Star Wars.
Right.
We never spent a lot of time in any of the original trilogy in bright, shiny places, right? They were almost always in some kind of bunker or den or something like that.
Right.
Not to mention that on Return, of course they fought Jabba the Hutt. So yeah, that was what got me so excited about the Mandalorian, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, but it was also Star Wars content on a TV show. Those are the things that I got jazzed for when I first heard.
You got jazzed, yeah. I get hyped. You get jazzed. Hey, there's some insults in the chat, so we'll get back to those. All insulting Aaron, so that's fine. But hey, Ryan, answer this. Jonathan asks about the timeline and it being after Jedi. You want to talk about that at all?
I think with the Empire still alive, it's kind of strange because it kind of goes the canon's so minute what is actually real and what's not considered a part of the canon. So one thing that's canon was the Battlefront 2 game in that story mode, and that had Palpatine having basically an escape plan, a plan that was like, oh, I died, this is what we're going to do now because we're still going to kill people, and now we know Palpatine's coming back in some form in episode 9. So he obviously had this whole thing planned out just like he did in the prequels, but it kind of makes you wonder, just not going into spoilers, just what this whole Empire thing is. Is this part of Palpatine's plan? Is it actually going into episode 9 with everything going forward?
Oh, stop there.
Yeah.
Don't. We're going to talk about that, though.
I'm not going to go into spoilers. Just that it definitely seems like just after the Death Star blown up. Probably I'd say maybe 5 years. Because it seems like the main protagonist, for instance, he's really used to hating the Empire, hating droids, that kind of thing, but he knows the Empire's dead, and he knows that he doesn't want those things. He doesn't want the credits like that. He knows it's gone. So
well, that leads credence to your theory that the Empire. I mean, if there's still Imperial credits, it can't be that long.
Right. Yeah. So they got to still be around, but obviously people are still a king topples, and you're still used to having a king, so you kind of wonder what to do. So these people are all just lawless, like Aaron said, and they don't know what's going on, who's in charge.
Right. So before we move on, Tim Randleman insulted Aaron. So he said, Tim said Nasco plays the pan flute, just like an Anchorman. But he said he was with us. He said it's growing on him, this musical score. I think it will all get used to it after a while, and I think it'll just like the entire series. It'll evolve as well. Tim also said there's a post-Empire lack of oppressive order in this world of The Mandalorian. Yeah, I mean, and that, in any kind of situation like that, when there's a power vacuum, I think I'm hoping that's where The Mandalorian will step in and, sort of fill that. I don't want to get into it quite yet, but hey, Aaron, those 30 years between Return of the Jedi and what's going on right now, between you and Ryan, can you guys explain a little bit more to Jonathan and other people? What's this period? What do we know about this period?
So the Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy kind of delved into the final ending of the Empire and how the last battle was over Jakku. Well, not the last, but the last most important battle was over Jakku.
What's Jakku now? Where's that?
that's planet that Rey was found on during Force Awakens.
I'm just saying there's some people that might not.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's what it explained why there was a battleship graveyard on Jakku and stuff like that. So that trilogy kind of was the bridging of the gap, primarily to help you understand kind of what really happened to the remnants of the Empire. And then I haven't read any of the other books in between, but maybe Ryan can fill in a little bit more. So that's and what was really interesting about that trilogy of books was really Palpatine's plan. Like he had, effectively, he said that if they can't protect their emperor, then there shouldn't be an empire, and he self-destructed the empire, other than a couple super star destroyers that he had sent out to the beyond the outer reaches that he was mapping over the years to try to get to be able to send them out there to see if there's anything going on. So that was kind of his end game, and I think that episode 9 might actually bring that back around when they're looking for the Wayfinder or what have you. That's rumor has it is what they're going to be doing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's all that for sure. It all just ties into what's going to happen in episode 9. I mean, it's really just like all because Palpatine showed up in the trailer. If Palpatine didn't show up in the trailer, then I'd have absolutely no theory that all this plan that he had in that book trilogy and in the other lore that came up, I had no idea that he had any more of a plan than he's basically mad he didn't have power, he died, he wants it all gone, that kind of thing. And now that he popped up in episode 9, it's this dude obviously has been planning for thousands of years of rule, so it's pretty crazy what's going to happen.
Yeah, Jonathan asked, so does a Mandalorian understand what the Force is? Because obviously Baby Yoda can harness it.
Wait, I thought we weren't talking about that stuff yet.
That's a really good point. But Jonathan, I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's like the biggest spoiler of the show so far.
So I learned early on from watching other people stream that if you have to engage the people that are in the stream or you'll lose them.
Sure, but you could have just
in the chat.
You could have just not
Shut up.
said the second part.
Okay. Tim said he thinks that Filoni and his work in Clone Wars and Rebels will have a far-reaching effect on the Star Wars universe. Filoni actually made this with Favreau, right?
Right.
Yeah, so the guy who made...
He was the creative director for all Star Wars TV stuff that's coming out.
Right.
Kathleen Kennedy, I think, is still over the movie universe, and then he's going to be running the TV.
That's what Jordan and I really were impressed. Like after they, it goes up and says that's the credits pop up, all the art at the end.
Ooh, I love that.
I watched the entire credits. I watched all the art.
So cool.
Are you guys checking that out?
Just to not go into spoilers, I think it's really amazing that we have just somebody trying something new. I knew it had to be someone great like Jon Favreau. Like, he did Iron Man. He kind of started the whole Marvel kickoff, and it's awesome. I was watching it and I was just like, this is what everybody wanted. It's not because it's like, this is OG Star Wars or anything like that. It's just that it's something that we don't know much about unless you really have dived into the lore. Like, for instance, just the Mandalorians, how they operate, like their tribes and all that.
Go ahead and talk about the Mandalorians, Ryan.
Oh, I mean, most of I know is the couple books I've read on, like Mandalorians Going Crazy, and then like the old games, Knights of the Republic, when the Mandalorian Wars and just Revan destroying and slaughtering everybody. I'm kind of actually interested. They talked about when he met the Mandalorian. It's not really spoiler territory yet, I guess, but he talked to the other Mandalorian Smith, and she said these were mostly lost on the Purge. And I don't know if she's talking about Mandalorian Wars, or was there another Purge that Palpatine did? I didn't know what that was, so I was hoping it's Mandalorian Wars and they're going to make that stuff canon. But that's a pretty high hope.
So the Mandalorians, the planet is Mandalore, right? But they talk about
Core 5, I think, right?
Oh, really?
I think it's not Core 5. I'm not sure.
You remember more about Knights of the Old Republic than I do, and you were like 12.
That might have just been one of the planets in their system or something.
Okay, but they're a tribe. But is that like I can't remember exactly. Aaron, do you remember anything more about the Mandalorians?
Yeah, so the planet's Mandalore, and they have tribes. So during the Clone Wars, the Clone Wars TV series actually got into a lot of kind of how the Mandalorians were deciding which way they wanted to go, and like the Mandalorian army in and of itself was designed as it is now to fight Jedi, right? They were conquering world after world back thousands of years ago, and then they finally got into an area where there were Jedi, and they were just they lost. They got their ass handed to them. So they started figuring out ways that they could defeat the Jedi. So the way that they move, the way that they, the different pieces of armor or different pieces of technology they have on them, that is all based to try to defeat a Jedi. And that's what's so interesting about the Mandalorian. Not to get into spoilers yet, but
go ahead.
And kind of his lack of knowledge of certain things. But I'm not surprised by that because it's been so long since the Purge of the Jedi. But yeah, so it's where I was going with that. But yeah, the Mandalorians are. He's right. They live war, right? That's pretty much all they've
warrior
done for
culture,
their entire existence. So that's their warriors. So the things I thought were really cool. The Purge. How I kind of took that. I think it was the Empire's purging of Mandalore. I think they thought that was probably like the one section or one sect other than the Jedi that probably could go against them the most. So I think that's what it meant. And it kind of insinuated to me that the reason the Empire purged the Mandalorians is for that metal, because to me it was the highest cost piece of currency that the Empire had.
Right. Could take a blaster shot.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And everybody afterward, we've heard that referenced a couple times about the steel now. I think that was a big piece of it, that the Empire purged them partly because of that, and also because they're just such strong warriors. But
is the metal the stuff vibroblades are made out?
Beskar? Beskar, is that what it's called?
I'm just thinking that maybe another reason they want the metal is because it can deflect lightsaber hits.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, lightsabers, blasters. I mean, anyway, there's probably no other way to do this besides start talking about spoilers right now. But I'll just say this before we talk about spoilers. What do you guys think about the acting? I thought that I've heard people say this on YouTube and a couple of different television programs that Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, and I'll double down on it. I can't believe that they found a way, and I got to give Favreau and the directors of the first two episodes credit. Their actual personality coming out of the character, even though you can't see his facial expressions, and he's not making wild, he's not going crazy with his gestures. It's just almost an imperceptible nod of his head or a turning of his head, and then the inflection and tone of his voice. Ryan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was noticing it. He's got Boba Fett's walk, but mostly like Boba Fett was so full of himself. So anything he did, he was leaning on the counter. He's just hanging out. He knows can't be touched. And this guy has the walk and the status of that, but he definitely is more wary because, like Aaron said, he doesn't seem to have much knowledge of the Mandalorian culture, just the religion and that's about it. So it was really cool to see how he knows he's deadly, but he's very wary still. He doesn't know exactly. It doesn't seem like he knows his place. It was very good acting in that sense. I agree.
So back to the Western theme, I really like how it almost always shows him with his hands or his right hand 2 inches away from his blaster.
It's so bad.
Especially when he's with the Jawas.
Oh yeah.
Man. And they're like blaster too, because his hand was right there. That was really cool.
And I think part of the reason why there's not a lot of talking, one is for the Western feel of it, but also, it's pretty hard to have him with a mask on all the time, because he's not going to take the helmet off. I think they're limiting the amount of talking that happens, which helps with the feel of the show and the aesthetics of it all. But also, it would be, I think we'd see a little bit more chinks in the armor, so to speak, if he had to speak more.
Right. And Jonathan said that her brother appreciated the lack of dialogue as well. I'll double down again on that. It's it's a Clint Eastwood type character. Doesn't really speak unless, and when he does say something, you're like, oh damn, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. That sort of one-liner was also typical of a Western.
Well, it's cool as well that you see the building of the character too, just through the 2 episodes that we've seen, and the fact that he's not arrogant, and he's not, while we do have the lack of speaking, they could take it the route of he's a badass, he doesn't talk, and when he does it's one-liners. But then we have the scene where he's running after the sand, what's it called again? The Jawas?
Yeah, John was Sandcrawler.
Yeah,
Oh, Sandcrawler, yeah.
When he's running after the Sandcrawler, that entire scene where he's like trying to climb up it, he's got no hope in hell that he's gonna like be able. And they're throwing trash down. And
that was fun.
We were just watching a review on it too, where they're talking about it because it's like it was so desperate and so like he's not gonna be able to do it, and then he gets beaten down and he's got to go back and basically put his pride aside. So it's cool. It's exciting to see that he's like, while he is like a cool, mysterious character who like obviously his backstory is gonna slowly develop, that it is slow, that he's still at the bottom, and it's going to be like a hero climb rather than
he's vulnerable though. He's not this superhero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, him in the mud fighting the beast.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Him getting the egg.
Yeah.
That was a mess. That was
okay.
Great.
Stop it.
I'm sorry. I thought we ended. I thought we were done.
Well, Tim says age-wise at this point, I think the Mandalorian character was born sometime around Order 66. And Aaron, I'll let you take this. In a universe as large as this, we know that by Awakens, Luke was more a legend rather than real. Can imagine he is not aware of Force abilities as a result.
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of getting to earlier. Like I was not surprised that he didn't know what the hell happened. With the baby thing, right? Not to talk about what that is, but. I wasn't surprised by that because it's been so long. And he was, the purge had already happened. The Jedi were gone.
Yeah.
And in Outer Reaches, it's even more likely that they didn't experience the Jedi. So, and then being that far away from the Mandalorian culture, they probably don't learn a lot about the Jedi. Or they feel that they're already gone, so there's no reason to talk about them. So I think that's a huge part to me. That was it was a minor detail. Really, but at the same time, it was super important to me to help us understand kind of where the universe is in that moment.
So let's go ahead. Let's go into it, guys. If you don't want to hear spoilers, now's the time to cut your feed, and maybe you can watch this on demand on the Facebook page later on. But from this point on, we're gonna get into some spoilers. But so I really want to go. I wanted to talk about that because each person now has alluded to it. The flashback that the Mandalorian had to whether it was the purge or whatever. Did you see his camera? That was weird.
Yeah.
Or whatever event it was where he was a child and you saw blaster fire and civilians getting killed. So it seems to be a memory of his parents being killed and him being either enslaved or. So what'd you guys think about that? What'd you get from that?
Honestly, I didn't even pay attention to it that much. He's obviously got a hate for the Empire and also for droids, which we don't know why, so it could have been a droid bounty hunter that somehow was tracking down the Mandalorians.
An IG-11?
Yeah, as far as... Well, it's just an IG unit. I don't know which one. But, yeah, I mean, the flashback, you definitely want to know more about the guy. But I'm more interested in seeing what comes of the baby and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead, Aaron.
I think context, like, I really paid attention to the flashback, but I think that was a total setup for when he found the orphan, right? It gave him a connection to this creature.
Gotcha.
That made him make that decision, right? And I think that was the point to the audience was, hey, this guy, he already mentioned that he was an orphan, and then he finds an orphan, and now I think, his hero's journey, the question to me is going forward, does he turn the baby in or does he not?
Yeah.
And is it going to turn into now he has a bounty on him because he has this baby instead of bringing it to the Empire? Those are the things that's what I thought of after the first episode was like, holy crap, I think this is how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Right? And, but I still don't know. He's still an ambiguous character as far as morals for the most part. You can tell he has a moral compass. But at the same time, he's a bounty hunter, so he showed early on that he's fairly cold-blooded about stuff. So it's like, okay.
He's smoking those Jawas in a second. Yeah.
We were like, why is he doing that? Like, what's the...
Oh, they're scavenging his shit.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But even with the bounty, that makes sense, because we had seen a review with the IG unit and the fact that when he takes him out, and that's against the guild's rules or codes in a way.
He killed a fellow bounty hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Where he poached his bounty. So.
Okay, let's go back to episode 1. If we're gonna do spoilers, let's do it right. the first episode was more of just establishing the fact that he's a bounty hunter and that he's capturing people for money. And like Ryan was talking about, money is hard to come by in this. I can't remember what kind of currency it was, but those colored discs that they put on the table were more worth more to him than the Imperial credits were. And then
Calamari.
yeah. But the Beskar medal was, like you said, like gold when he put it down, and then he got to make his pauldron out of that, which I thought was so cool. So let's assume, you guys can tell me what you think, that in the first season he's going to be building his his Mandalorian armor.
Agreed.
So if that's true, I don't think that's in question. But so the guy in the bar like took a knife and he took it like a dagger and he scraped and said, "Is that Beskar?" So it seemed like it was, but in episode 2, that rhinoceros thing like
Just
Destroyed it.
So I don't know that it
Hanging off him,
is.
that was great.
Maybe it's just old, or what do you think?
I mean, obviously it's got some sort of, it's not just normal armor. I mean, every time you had to repair it, it has some sort of computer system going on. So
Right.
I don't know exactly what it does. But yeah, it could just have something like, trying to think, does energy fields, maybe it produces an energy field for him, that kind of thing, something like that. But yeah, I don't think it's best.
Yeah, I don't think this chest plate is either. I think it's helmet and that pauldron are. I don't think the rest is.
I think you're right, yeah. Because of the color. Yeah. Jonathan says, before we keep going, do Mandalorians get a signet? Didn't understand that part, and John said it wasn't in the books.
I don't know. I can't remember exactly what a signet is. I imagine it's just when they're allowed to actually go to battle, but that doesn't really make sense. I just remember that most of their childhood is brought up just them fighting constantly. They're just doing simulated battles all the time. And then I know they're at one point deemed ready for war. I don't know if that's what this is because it doesn't quite make sense, or maybe they've adapted it because the tribes are so scarce now. I mean, I was just excited to see that there is even still a tribe. I didn't think that was a thing. I thought, Boba Fett or whatever was just like out there alone. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but the way it kind of sounded, it almost sounded like that was going to be his name. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's have you received your name yet? Like it's like a naming for them. Is kind of how it seemed to me when he was talking to the blacksmith. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the signal is out there.
No, I go back and watch it. I've only seen it twice, but okay. Well, so episode 1, like we alluded to before, the bar scene was a typical Western. You spilt my drink
Yeah.
bar scene, which I thought it wasn't this crazy fight. It's just him, beating a couple guys' ass, a couple drunks.
Cutting a dude in half with a door.
Oh yeah, that too.
That was
Which I was
pretty cool.
surprised to happen on Disney. I could have sworn they said no dismemberment, but
Well,
I guess it's
they only
different.
showed it was in the foreground,
His
right?
leg fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
So as soon as I saw him go towards the door, I went, yes!
yeah. In the previews, I was hoping that they would show it, but I guess you more heard it than you did see it because you could probably fake your way out of that. Oh, it wasn't the legs; it was something else. But what else stood out for you guys in episode 1?
Obviously, the IG part was awesome. I mean, we've known he's a bounty hunter, or we know they use bounty hunter droids for a while. Just seeing him actually in action, able to do something like that was bizarre. That was amazing. I mean, that was just great stuff. Then I guess the old man that has the mounts, that was really cool because we find out later he doesn't even know about the Force really, but
Right.
he knows about the Mandalorian just from books. So I don't know if that's going to be a returning character or not. because
Queel?
I
Is that his name?
can't
Queel?
remember.
We wrote it down. He's an Ugnaught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll say
I have
the
spoken.
Ugnaught, I thought the makeup or whatever it was on the Ugnaught was badass. Like that was.
I thought he was an Ugnaught.
Yeah, those practical effects were so
Yeah.
So good.
And so the IG-11 part, thought it was awesome. Got to see that droid like in full on action. I was like, yeah, man, that thing's terrifying. Like I just arms spinning around. I was like, holy shit.
It was a cool character immediately.
Get some.
The humor.
And then the other thing that I found interesting about that
Okay.
last scene after they find the baby, and the Mandalorian decides to kill the IG unit, was the IG unit had, I don't know if he had the same bounty from the same people, because he said, that the bounty was for it to be dead, where
He did.
Mandalorian was either dead or alive, preferably, but dead if you have to. And I found that to be interesting. So I was like, I think that just kind of sets up the idea that there's more than one organization that's looking for this thing.
The second group of people that attack him as well, they had also another tracker. So I think that was the second group of bounty hunters attacking him as well. So there's definitely somebody else with the bounty on that.
Going after the baby and not him.
Right.
Just leaving him. Yeah. Tim says the probable Mandalorian refugee hideout stood out to me in episode 1.
I agree. No, it was the whole scene, that whole part with the memory, the Smith, seeing a lot of Mandalorians kind of hanging out, almost slum-like, kind of just hanging out on the side of the walkways and stuff like that. I thought all that was just so cool. Like building Mandalorian lore, it was just it was awesome. And I don't know how they melted that metal so fast, but it was awesome. You don't even need hot fire.
Yeah, I play Star Wars: The Old Republic, or I have in the past, and they definitely get into Mandalorian lore a lot more. But I played a mercenary bounty hunter, and that's what I did was kill Mandalorians. But their blaster skills are the best. But anyway, what else about episode 1? What about the acting overall in episode 1 and the different characters? We didn't really get to see much. Werner Herzog. They show in IMDb, they say his character is called the Client. What about that scene for you guys? The Doctor, the Client, the Imperial Stormtroopers. What'd you think?
I think the Stormtroopers' armor being so dirty and then them being in a locked room, I think kind of pointed to them being in hiding. Like it felt that way. They've been hiding for a long time, right? It's like they're the last remnant of a piece of the Empire. And the Doctor had a bit of a cloner kind of vibe to him. But at the same time, it's like, or do they want the baby to help them resurrect Palpatine? There's all kinds of questions that kind of rattle around my head about it. I love that scene, and the way that he spoke, like that was next level acting. Like the way he said Mandalorian was it was awesome. But.
Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely got it as soon as the Doctor showed up and the scientist. I immediately started thinking what this whole thing was about. And then after we saw the baby at the end of episode 1, I was like, oh my god. And just, I knew it was going to be Force sensitive and all that stuff. But I got like a bunch of theories for what I think the whole show's even insinuating, because it comes out at right before episode 9. So I'm hoping it's going to show some pretty big spoiler for what we're going to see. So
yeah, that's what we were talking. Jordan and I were talking about last night. Was the last episode of the first season is a week after episode 9 opens, so that's pretty freaking cool, man. And then being able to tie it all in, and knowing the skill of J.J. Abrams, it makes me even more excited for episode 9. Based on what happens in the next month, we're going to learn so much about. I think I agree. My buddy Josh Hammerling has a clone theory as well. I was telling you on the phone today, Ryan. He said that he saw some kind of patch or symbol on the Doctor's uniform that says he's I don't know the type of clone Doctor he is, but whatever that is. And he was like you, thinking, well, what could it be? Is it? He's immediately started thinking, is Rey a clone? Are they trying to clone whatever Yoda, whatever species that is? Are they trying to and he wanted him alive. And
also, if we're going to talk about the big theory, he talks about in I think it's Clone Wars, Sidious talks about Plagueis and how he's able to suck the life force from another into another. So I think a lot of what we're going to get there is either this is him sucking the life force from this highly force sensitive, yodeling into a either Palpatine, or maybe they're creating Rey at this point, which I don't think timeline wise it matches up, but maybe they just keep the baby around for Rey. I don't know.
Yeah, that's super interesting. There's lots of pseudo theories out there about Episode 9, and some of the most believed theories, if that's what you want to say, what you want to call it, they're talking about the force sucking abilities of Palpatine and Darth Plagueis. You guys help me out here? Wasn't Darth Plagueis? Wasn't he the one that could like orbit a planet and see where the force sensitive people were and then affect them somehow? Wasn't that Plagueis?
It's been a while since I've read the book.
Yeah.
I think so. That's why I thought Snoke was Plagueis, but that didn't turn
I
out.
knew Snoke wasn't Plagueis. That theory was kind of ridiculous to me, but because Plagueis wouldn't show himself. But yeah, I don't know about the orbiting the planet. I know he was very good at he could basically go into like cryo. Like that's why he lived for so long. Is he basically just his life essence would go away, but he'd still exist, and then he could come back. So
That's true. We fought in Star Wars: The Old Republic. We fought him a couple different times in 2 different expansions. So he kept bringing himself back somehow. We'll get into more theories in just a second. But your Chiefs watching, Ryan. sorry, just jokes. But not jokes. You're actually watching. But so for episode 2. So anyway, at the end of episode 1. Anybody want to describe what we saw?
Little Yoda. I mean,
the
the
freaking cutest.
third that we know that exists between Yoda and Yaddle, and now we got this little baby.
What was Yaddle?
The girl.
Yaddle was a female Jedi that you saw during the prequel trilogy. Just real quick, she was like on the council, and then she was gone. So, yeah, we had a spirited discussion. Timmy Jam Randleman and a couple other guys about over Facebook about. Well, did Yoda have I was like, no, Yoda's gonna step up and do some shit.
Yoda was asexual.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, dude, he's not gonna. It's just he's too beholden to the Jedi code, right? I was like, there's no way that he's like, well, we'll make a baby. Like, no, bro, this wasn't gonna go down.
What, a council member?
I could be wrong, right?
The sorry ass Jedi code. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool reveal. And my theory brain was running through all the way to where I really hope the last episode we see their planet or something.
Yeah.
I just want to know more about that species because it's just obviously super force.
You didn't have any problem. Any of you guys didn't have any problem with the ET finger thing at the end.
Nope.
Not really. It's just kind of like symbolism. I mean, it's Lucasfilms.
Yeah.
Hey,
but it seems like on episode 2 he has some type of power to heal, right? Because he kept trying to heal at least the Mandalorian.
What a
that was
scene.
so funny.
What a cute freaking scene. He kept walking
really
out.
Yeah,
Cat.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's just wandering over. And
get over here. Yeah.
and he just closes the egg on him.
See, but that's the way you do cute. No offense to Lucas, but that's the brilliance of Jon Favreau. You do cute like that. You don't do it with the silliness, that he had in the prequels. I get it, you're trying to sell toys, but you are obviously trying to sell toys. Now, we saw a review and this guy was okay, Disney, so where's my baby Yoda? I want to buy one now. Mm-hmm. Imagine Christmas. Imagine how much they're going to make on...
they're coming in those egg pods and everything, and then they're going to have, you can take out the Yoda, and, but his effects were great. The fact that they mixed that, like a little puppet, it looked like, with, CGI for his face and ears. Because the detail of his ears...
I didn't notice it.
Freaking out over that. No.
I just saw that baby Yoda. I didn't notice the...
Yeah,
until we saw a review, and this guy was, screaming he wanted to buy a baby Yoda, and then he started talking about the practical effects mixed with the CGI.
Did you guys notice in episode 1? So I was loving the whole intro scene and all that, but he stepped out into the ice, and the scene where the droid ship comes up. Did you notice that was completely CG?
Which one?
The droid ship comes up, the yellow one, the Land Cruiser.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And I saw that, and immediately I was like, oh god, no. I was thinking this is what's going to be the rest of it. It's going to be just really taking me out of it. And then luckily a dude rolled up and it was a practical effects land speeder, and I was like, okay, we're good.
For
The
me,
rest of it was great.
I thought that could even be like a joke towards the prequels because they had those in riddled in the prequels. So he comes up and he's
Was
like,
it a shot?
No droids. He's like, hell no.
Maybe.
And then it moves on, and then it's practical.
I mean, they had the what's the guy? Oh no, wait, no, he's from the original trilogy. Never mind. The dude that Jabba the Hutt.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
guy.
Let's talk a little bit about some Easter eggs then. What are they called?
His name was Salacious Crumb, the guy from.
Jeez, you would know that.
Damn.
You know how I describe it? I describe him as the guy. The guy you wanted to smash.
Which is why that Easter egg was so amazing.
It was really cool.
He's burning alive.
But there was a couple of them, right? There was one in a cage, and there was one that was watching. Yeah. He was watching his boy get roasted.
Yeah. You remember how much you hated this dude?
Yeah. What other Easter eggs did we see?
Oh god, there were a lot. I mean, there's the Utini from Jawa. I mentioned to Dad the actual audio clip where he goes Utini when he comes up. You can hear that audio clip. Yeah.
There's a lot of
When
eye
he's
popping out from the door.
the eye popping out from the door. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
when he starts his speeder and it doesn't start that first time when the fish is like attached to him, it's the pod racer noise. And like as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Is this the same engine as the pod racer?"
Yeah.
No, that thing, yeah.
That makes sense.
Like it's all stuttering. Yeah, it's some great audio Easter eggs in there that I really enjoyed. And if you play the games, which at least two of us do, those are all in the games too. They use the same audio. That's what I really like about Lucasfilms and Disney taking it over. Tim says, also after episode 2, I'm going to need to cosplay up my nephew as a Jawa and have him hand out Cadbury eggs to people. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The timing must be deliberate by Disney, but it is quite brilliant. Because Jonathan said this, I think she's still talking about the Baby Yoda. I mean, I'm not too sentimental, but the way he brought in the Western part of it and then he brings in episode 2 where you're like, I'm already in episode 2. I'm like, if anybody kills this baby, like Tim said earlier, Mandalorian will go on the John Wick craze, kill everybody because they killed his dog. But just there's a lot of heart in these two episodes, I thought.
Agreed.
You may want to elaborate.
So this is kind of separate from the feeling good stuff, but
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious how the little Yoda egg followed him everywhere when he's hauling ass, like after the sandcrawler. He's like, do like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like what could this thing be thinking right now? Like, what an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of cool how he controls the egg, and I really.
Yeah.
But I think everybody was thinking, where's the egg? Is it falling behind? Is it going to get crushed? And I wonder if they thought that when they were filming editing it up. They must have.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was following the sandcrawler. I immediately was like, because they had one shot of the egg moving behind it, and I was like, he's just slowly following behind the entire time. He's like getting zapped on the ship. That was hilarious.
That was a really cool scene. I mean, but I like the fact, you talked about it earlier, Jordan. I really like the fact that he didn't just, jump on top of the what do you call it again?
Sandcrawler?
Thank you. Yeah, that's only the third time you've told me. The sandcrawler and just like take it over. Yeah. And it makes him human again. Human also at Mandalorian.
I also loved how when they showed him inside the sandcrawler, like it's built for Jawas, so he's like
he hit his head
over, and his head's hitting the roof. He's like just grumpy about it. Like, this sucks. Like, I thought that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, like it's a real he's got to put his pride aside just to. Yeah. He's like, this is my stuff. You stole it from me, and they're laughing at him, and he's tries to set him on fire. That was great.
Tim also said there's probably splinter groups made up of Imperial members vying for the baby and for power in general. One thing about Imperial officers, they definitely have the drive to overtake the competition at any cost. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it's just like every other theory. It's definitely plausible. I mean, the Empire was so bad when it was whole. The only reason they were good at what they do is because Vader ruled with an iron fist and killed anybody if they stepped out of line. So it's definitely viable that now that all the Dark Jedi or Sith are dead, that they are just kind of out there just trying to seize what they can because they're your hungry, crazed people.
Yeah, that vacuum of power we were talking about. Definitely. Let's see. Tim also said he was talking about about Gizmo. Kind of wished he said light bright instead of bright light. It definitely has a Gizmo feel, doesn't it?
Oh, fact. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That might be how he got created. They might just pour water on Yoda.
It's pretty cool. All right, so let's talk theories. Who wants to go first? What do you think's happening in the Mandalorian by episode 8? What will we know? What do you think's going to go down?
Go ahead, Ryan.
I mean, I kind of gave mine already. I feel like it's Rey. The baby's going to be taken and turned into Rey. We're going to see Palpatine come out the shadows, and you'll see him do something with Rey. I feel like that's what I hope for. I think realistically, it's not going to be as cool because it's such a niche in how people watch this. It's not something that's just on TV, so it's not accessible to everybody, or not everybody's going to want to pay the subscription to watch it. So I don't think it's going to be something as big as that, spoiler-wise. It's probably just going to be something like we see Palpatine, or we understand where he is and how he's in cryostasis, which even that seems like a too big a spoiler. But it could just end that he saves the Yoda, or the Yoda dies and then he dies, like something like that. That's what I don't think it's going to be too big a spoiler because of it only being on Disney Plus.
Right.
So I think they have already ordered another season of this, right?
I don't know.
I think I've heard that there's a season 2. So I think that this first 8 episodes of the season is going to end with him finding a home for this Yodeling. Like I feel that way. It has that vibe to me, and then it's gonna that way. This is gonna be the finite story. This one story arc for him is our introduction to him, and then he's gonna go out and do other things later. In later seasons. I think the season's gonna be almost completely with him and the Yodeling. I don't think he's ever gonna separate from it until the last episode. But I don't see it ending with the Yodeling going to the Empire, or unless if it does, then that's gonna be the driving factor in season 2. To make the Mandalorian go find him then, because I think he's going to end up being way too attached to him, right? He's got his own little child puppy dog right now that just literally follows him around.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see it really any other way. But I'm with you, Ryan. I don't think there's going to be any huge spoilers. I think episode 9 or the last episode of the season might have something tied in with episode 9, but I don't think it's going to be ginormous. I think it's going to be rather small. Maybe an envelope of the Emperor, because the movie will already have come out, but I'm not really sure. I don't think it's going to be a lot of huge spoiler stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And the universe changing event that happened in episode 1, which was the Yodeling being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome.
I think we'll definitely maybe see the because they showed in the trailers the Death Star. I was thinking maybe that most of the Empire and what in order that it stands is probably based out of there. So we're going to see some sort of nod to that. I feel like maybe in episode 8 or whenever the Mandalorian has to deal with the Empire again, is they're going to instruct him to go there, because they're going to show something from episode 9, like you said, Aaron. So like it's something like that where they just pass by the Death Star or something is probably going to be happening.
Right. Tim says they've started filming season 2.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I could take 10 seasons. They got 30 years of dead space. You might as well just go for it. What do you think? Do you have any theories as to what's going to happen?
I mean, we had heard one of the theories where in the beginning, he one of the next couple of episodes, he might give the Yodeling over to them because that's his initial, he's for the job.
It's his contract.
Yeah, it's his contract. He wants the armor. So he would give it at first and then have regrets and go back, and that's that would be a turning point for the character.
So that's a quick arc, though, isn't it?
It's very quick. Yeah. So I'm not sure about it, but
it makes sense to me. I'll go along with that as well. I mean, it's a short-term theory.
Oh yeah, but then the idea of him wanting his armor as well. That's such a sort of surprise.
That's a pull.
I would not be surprised. So
yeah, when you have, I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. You're trying to get your armor back. You're trying to reestablish Mandalore. I'm assuming that's what he's doing, because when I look at the previews of the subsequent episodes, it's like the WWE lady.
Oh right.
the chick from Marvel.
She's in Deadpool.
Deadpool, that's what it is.
Torturing
Yeah,
him.
so the bodybuilder lady. I don't know. She might be a Mandalorian. I don't know. It looks like because he's high fiving her, like bro, hugging her, you know. So maybe Bill Burr becomes part of the crew. I don't know.
He looked like he would be like a.
I don't know. He comes in with blasters in the preview, but Aaron, I think you might be right. That Queel might end up on his crew. You never know. As the engineer, as the guy who fixes the what's it called, the Razor Crest. It's a Razor Crest, the class of ship. Yeah, I don't really have any enough knowledge to give any theories, long-term theories, except what my buddy Josh said, where he thought the whole clone thing got to be a tie-in. There's got to be a tie-in of whether it's the crazy theory, which I think crazy, like the essence of for Palpatine that Ryan was talking about. Maybe they just introduced that ability, so Leia being able to survive in outer space isn't so much of a triggering event for people.
This might just also be an intro into the First Order itself.
Yeah.
We might just see how they begin the clone processing for that, and then they stopped eventually for some reason. Maybe the yodeling only has so much power to do that. Something like that. Maybe
So
we'll just
tell
see
me about
something
that,
to do with
Ryan.
First
I don't
Order.
think I know about that. The First Order and clone process. What are you talking about?
I think they have a model that makes it so they can genetically modify the troopers, I believe. I'm not sure. But I know they just take kids. That's most of what I read episode 7, the book, and there's something to do with they use some sort of genetic thing for like the Imperial Guard and stuff like that. But
They modify them after they capture them?
I think so, as kids. It's something to do with how they brainwash them. I know that because it didn't work with Finn for some reason. He's the only one that's ever went AWOL. Yeah, that's all I can feel.
Any comments, Aaron?
No, so I wanted to go actually to what Jordan was saying. I think that I agree with you, because that's the moral dilemma I think that he's going to face, right? Is balancing the baby versus the man, the armor. Like, I think he's really drawn as a Mandalorian to having that steel, and bring it back to the Mandalorian people, right? That's what the Blasphemous said, is like, thank you for bringing this back to Mandalore. But on the flip side, he's going to have that baby, and I could absolutely see the way you're talking about, where he ends up giving the baby up, and then the first thing he's going to do is go find it. Because it's going to be torturing him, right? That he just looked at the thing and was like, this is an orphan just like me. I have to protect it, right? And that's going to be the most interesting part of the character arc, I think, for him in this season. Is that dilemma.
So it didn't bother me, but I really wanted more. The first 2 episodes, one was 35 minutes and the second one was 30 minutes. I just wanted more. How'd you guys feel about that?
Yeah. I've definitely heard complaints, people saying that the 35 minutes is just a bit too short. But I think Star Wars is kind of in like a period of reform after Last Jedi and just the insane backlash they got for, this basically the fan base being split, it seems. They're definitely feeling it out, I feel like. I know they've already ordered season 2 and like they know this is going to be good, but it just seems like they were really testing the waters with this and they want to see how well it does. And I feel like that's what a lot of the season's going to be, especially since they're all going to be about 35 minutes, is they're going to give you what you want and not much more. That's why I don't think there's going to be any huge spoilers or anything, because they're really not going to try and go for anything crazy out there.
That would negatively impact the movie.
Well, yeah, even just the lore itself. I think they're pretty terrified to do that unless they come out with some crazy, movie in the future, that is. But that's why I kind of feel like the show's going to stay in just a niche. I don't think they're going to go. I want them to go into the Mandalorian culture a lot more, but I think majority of what we're getting is already been seen.
Tim says, I'm sorry, Aaron, let me just read this real quick, Aaron.
Yep, you're good.
The episode schedule this is what Tim said. The episode schedule for the final 2 episodes were adjusted to fit around the rise of Skywalker. Episode 7 releases on or about the 18th of December. I think he means 9, right?
Yeah.
Episode 9. The last one is a week after December 20th. cloning seems like the most plausible tie into the Skywalker saga. So he's agreeing with you guys. Production costs are probably a factor into the short episodes.
So expensive.
It's only $12.5 million per episode.
Like in a way, it's like they're testing the waters by throwing millions of dollars into every episode.
I mean, they did get 10 million subscribers, and their stock jumped $25 in a day. Like that was
$25.
It's Disney, so
yeah.
they're loaded. They can afford.
It's very
It's
true.
just skyrocketed.
Well, they don't want another flop that only makes $300 million profit,
Yeah.
like episode
I
8.
think, I didn't have an issue with episode 1 at all as far as its length. I thought the length of that was pretty much
Felt good.
perfect.
Yeah.
I thought episode 2, because of the way that story was, it just seemed like it was like a 30-minute action sequence. Like it wasn't really. That was it. It was almost like a cartoon side story, right, where the characters go on a side adventure that doesn't mean anything.
It's a filler episode.
In the Clone Wars, it kind of felt the same way. Where this guy
How
was
dare
like,
you say that?
I'm going to go find a nice little furry egg so that the Jawas can have some, egg yolk. That's what was so weird about it. But I still love the episode. I thought the way that they did it was great.
Yeah.
But it was like, give me 10 more minutes of something inside of that.
Yeah,
That's kinda
I heard somebody else say filler episode. I watched the first 12 seconds of it, and he said filler episode, and I turned the YouTube off. But I don't disagree that what you guys are saying. I'm just saying that I would agree with filler episode the way Ryan is saying it. I think you tell me if I'm right. Is it's still developing the character? It's still telling us. It's getting us to love this little gizmo. It's getting us to see now an increased bond between the two of them because of the attempted heals and then him saving his ass with holding that rhino up in the air. I don't know what the name of the creature is, but without that, you don't feel it. You can't assume that bond and that. So filler in that, you're right. It's a side quest. It's a side mission. It's not going to necessarily further the plot much, other than the bounties, I think, on the gizmo. But I hate you both. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I didn't hate it.
No, I didn't hate it either.
Well, those lengths as well. How short it is it's more akin to like the animated series, like Clone Wars is probably that's got to be around half an hour. I think they typically are like 25 minutes, something like that each episode. So that's kind of what this felt like a little bit more to me, where it's like and I'm not as much against that. The idea of like quality over quantity. To me, I'm like, if it's gonna be 35 minutes episodes of fantastic content, then I'm on board. I'd much rather have that than an hour of most of it's filler and then maybe one or two, because that would annoy me, because that's why I think like the idea of it being more of a filler episode last episode didn't bother me in the slightest, was because it was so short. So that's my opinion.
Any other that's good. Any other comments you want to make about the first 2 episodes or anything else before I want to talk about something else, but anything else you
I
guys
wish
want?
he would have taken IG with him, fixed him, and made him his sidekick. Like, I was so hoping that because he's on the freaking cover of it when you open Disney Plus, you're like, oh man, all right, he's gonna be part of the team. Nah, smoke that fool.
But that was awesome.
It's a cool droid though, wasn't it?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, let's prepare him and like make him part of your crew.
Destruct sequence
that was
initiated.
Not was how he offered to make him part of the crew. It kind of went away from the I'm a loner. Like, no, I find value in you and I want you to be part of this team. I thought that was interesting as well, because they were really set. I felt like the loner thing on him was just so strong, and then it wasn't out of character. I don't think it was, because he saw value in the guy. But I thought that was an interesting.
But do you remember the movie The Outlaw Josey Wales? Remember how much of a loner he was after the rest of his Confederate like the band broke up, and then throughout the 3-hour movie. Ryan doesn't like this movie, by the way, and I really appreciate it if you would not comment. He didn't say he didn't like it. He said it just wasn't that great. But Clint Eastwood's character arc goes from being a crazy loner, bent on revenge, to at the end of the movie, he's protecting these people, that this odd group of people that have attached themselves to him, that are really drawn to him. He thinks he's a no good SOB and a killer, and they see something good in him, and I think that's going to be the same theme with the Mandalorian. Ryan, I was just messing with you. Go ahead and respond.
You're good. I love Josey Wales.
I knew he was going to
There's
say
a lot
that.
there's a lot of filler in it, and that bothers the hell out of me in spaghetti westerns. Even though I know it's majority of them are, especially anything with John Wayne or anything like that. There's a lot of filler, but yeah, I agree.
What'd you say about John Wayne?
There's a lot of filler.
Yeah, it's a western. But I think that's the way it's going to be. That's my. I guess that's a theory. I don't think that's a crazy idea. He's got to be redeemed, or not redeemed, but he's got to have that character arc. He's the protagonist, so you have to like him, even if he's an SOB at the beginning. It's already being handled better than somebody like, say, Han Solo, who's a scoundrel, and then suddenly you're supposed to love him, and he's a general. Anyway.
Love him.
Did you hear about the change on A New Hope?
The Greedo?
Interaction with Greedo? Yeah.
I thought the special effects just got added.
No, they added a line to Greedo, which is effectively him threatening him, and then they shoot simultaneously.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
Commit already.
Yeah, I know.
Stupid.
That's
But
hilarious.
hey, Disney doesn't have the originals. They can't go back, but for some reason they can add something that whatever, dude. Come on, man.
Jesus.
Hey, it got people talking about it.
It did.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone else said, "Oh, Hammer's here." He said, "Don't ever speak negatively of Han Solo." All right, next time we're going to get Josh on here. And I talked a little bit, Josh, about your theory about cloning and whatnot. If you want to pop it off real quick in the chat while we talk about a couple things, we can address it. But what I wanted to talk about, and it's super quick, we can do this again in a couple weeks or maybe a month before episode 9 comes out. I definitely want to do that, guys. So let's get this crew back together. Maybe add Josh or anybody else. We can also add people to a call and have them speak while we're on video. That'd be fine because Tim obviously knows a lot about this and is pretty damn good at it.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
That's right. We just watched that last night, Gross Point Blank. But episode 9, I'm so excited for it. What I saw Abrams talk about, and I'll just say this, and you guys give me your opinions. He said, "I did not play it safe." He said he felt like he said, "Well, maybe I didn't play it safe in episode 7." He said, but he said he felt a duty to give people another Star Wars movie to link the first trilogy to this trilogy. He said, and then he, and I don't really want to talk about this because it'll take too long. Then he defended Rian Johnson and what he did with episode 8. But he said now in episode 9, he said, if you've seen my Star Trek movie, or what I did with the Star Trek universe, you'll know that I don't play it safe. And he goes, and I definitely didn't in this episode. So what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Ryan.
So I'm not with the people that say episode 7's like A New Hope. I mean, I feel like those people don't watch Star Wars a lot, but that's just me. But yeah, obviously the guy who's a fanatic and loves Darth Vader is a part of a Empire-esque First Order, and of course they built a bigger and better Death Star, and of course the rebels are going to try and kill it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous that people get upset about that. But the characters are wildly different than anything we know. Like Kylo Ren, I mean, an interesting Sith, like an actually Sith we know about. Like, not saying Darth Vader isn't great, just, it's just
More depth.
Kylo Ren actually has a story. You understand his motives. You understand what he's trying to live up for. Rey, you don't know anything about her past, nothing about the character, but you know she has a sense of compassion and just loyalty that she was. It's just Finn. Just all the acting's good, which is just insane for a Star Wars movie.
Right.
And just yeah, I mean,
That's true.
Episode 7 is by no means the same movies that are, the original trilogy or anything like that. And episode 8, I can understand why he wants to defend Rian Johnson, but the guy's an idiot. You should have just made the movie, shut up your mouth, and just, that's my product, I'm done. Not go out there and be like, you guys are wrong. Like, you don't get to tell Star Wars fans that. That's just stupid. So, yeah.
I don't know. So I'm in the minority, I guess, because I actually really enjoyed TLJ. I was not a fan of the Canto Bight scene. I understood the utility of it with, Finn's figuring out his own, what he wants to do.
Sure.
Got it.
He realized he wanted to be loyal. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So that was the beauty of that scene, which I got it. But like, I loved how they treated Luke Skywalker. I thought it was appropriate. He's, I battle with Chris Norsey about this all the time because he still hates the movie.
Because he's a Skywalker fanboy.
He is a Skywalker fanboy.
He wants Luke to be the hero in this trilogy.
He wanted Luke to come down and start pulling Star Destroyers out of the sky crushing AT-ATs with his, with the Force.
But he admitted that. He did. That's what he wanted. Yeah.
And but for me, like, it was like, no, it made sense. And then how he ended, it was the ultimate pacifist Jedi way, right? And I'm
just like Obi-Wan.
Yeah, and I think Rian Johnson. I think JJ's right. I think Rian Johnson doing what he did gave JJ some courage to like make a decision that was to do things that might be unpopular, right? Like, and I agree with Ryan. Like, I have a friend that thinks Kylo Ren is by far the most interesting character in any Star Wars movie ever. Like, he has more depth than anyone else.
It's not even close.
Yeah, and so it's that, and I don't disagree. It's I've enjoyed these last two movies, and I'm looking forward to Episode 9. Absolutely. I really want to see how they end up with the Emperor. Like, that's going to be badass.
It's going to be so good.
Ooh, that's cool.
And it's going to end with Rey being Skywalker.
Certainly, she's going to be You think she's going to choose to be Skywalker? How do you think they'll do that? She take on Skywalker.
She's going to take on the moniker or name of Skywalker. I think that's how it's going to be.
What do you think, Ryan?
I don't know what I think. What I hope is she becomes a baddie, and then Kylo Ren kills her, and he takes on the Skywalker.
Cool.
That's what I hope.
I would love that.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope to God that scene we saw her in the trailer with the lightsaber that bends is not a dream. I hope to God that's real, and we get some of the coolest, space wizard fight we've ever seen. Like, because I mean, The Last Jedi, that throne room fight was some of the best, choreography I've seen in a while. It was awesome.
Oh, people hate that.
Yeah, they're
hate
idiots.
Yeah.
Because they're in sword combat all the time. They know what that's like. But yeah, I mean, all the choreography and all the sequel trilogy has been what I think amazing. It just makes sense. Kylo Ren has a broadsword, so he swings hard and fast. Like Finn, when he fought him, is just swinging at him, not really blocking. He doesn't know what he's doing that well. Like, it makes so much sense. And the fact that people get upset about that stuff is insane to me. But yeah, I hope she turns baddie and we get to Joker and she's inconsequential to the Star Wars universe. And then
There's no way. There's no way. I'll bet you $1 million. There's no way that'll happen.
How cool would that be?
There's no way that's going to
They're not going to do that. It's Disney. Think about it.
Of course. They killed a woman.
They're not doing it.
In 2019, they killed a woman.
I mean,
she's
we just see Kylo do some crazy stuff. I just need Kylo to have some sort of round out that makes me enjoy it.
Yeah.
And not he just gets punked on because they don't know what to do with him. That's what.
Aaron said this will be his redemption movie. I remember you saying that a year ago. So we'll say that for just before Episode 9 when we get together and do this again. But because I know you want to go into more in depth, both of you do. But Josh said, I think not playing it safe would have been calling this Episode 8, having Rey wake up and be like, "What a terrible dream! It was like a slow chase, anti-capitalism, animal rights, Bantha Poo show. Thank goodness it was just a dream." Yeah, Disney was rocking the diversity theme pretty heavily in Episode 8. We'll just leave it at that.
You can do without Rose.
Yeah, well, Rose is. Get off her back, man.
I hate her character. No hard feelings for the actress. I like that. I liked the idea of Finn's arc and everything. Everything about her character bothered me. It was the only thing that really took me out of it, man. I just don't.
It's the writing, and I don't blame the actress at all.
No, I don't. Well, I only say that because people reacted so badly to her. Like, they freaked out.
PTSD flashbacks to Titanic. I've listened to Female Rose.
I enjoyed her sister 15 times.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why isn't she the one?
That was so
Her
much
sister
cooler.
was badass. Like,
Yeah.
she broke her spine and then watched herself die.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
That
it's
was
amazing.
so much cooler.
Tim said, young Skywalker idealism versus old Luke pessimism is appreciated by older people like me. Luke overcomes it by the end, and I appreciate it. Hashtag resiliency. Oh, the airmen in the stream laugh. But
You're retiring. Get over it.
yeah. Tim, man, he's resilient. But I like that too.
I know he works for Cord Urban. He has to be resilient.
Jesse, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you were in you're in the Pentagon, dude.
Yeah, he moved.
Ah, okay. I thought you were at Springfield or you were. My bad.
He was.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm not up on current events. Hey guys,
He helped him to divest his billet.
say that again.
He helped them to divest his billet.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't valuable in Springfield.
Yeah.
But so is it a deal? We the four of us get together at the very least.
I'm down.
Let's see. I got a lot going on in December, but you guys do too. I know Ryan's got is busy learning, getting his smarts in the 1-0 world. I told you that, right, Aaron?
Oh, you breathe.
I told you that, didn't I?
I've
Oh, now we got to start this now. Come on, man.
been trying to actually instill in some of the pipeliners because we were upstairs where the 1-on-1s learned because that was the only open classroom, and like we're walking by them, and like I'm walking with like two of the brand new airmen, and I'm like, look at that guy, and they're like, what? And I'm like, look at that 1-on-1er. I was like, who cares about that guy? And they're like, they just look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, you guys don't have like wars in the dorms? Like, 1-0, baby. Like, what are we doing?
That's good. We've already got Ryan.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're learning on a floor where real analysts learn. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this on the picture. What's that? I don't know. What's that? Anyway, that was me in Block 4. But I don't know if you guys. I don't know what you guys do now. How much you guys get into imagery or not? We actually had an entire block where we. I'm going to use air quotes here. Exploited imagery, which I was so bad at. But
It's not much different. There's a lot of that.
I'm gonna have to make like a baby here real soon, bro.
yeah. Hey guys, thanks a lot for thanks for joining us. Apologies for the technical errors. I probably won't do this until we do this again next time, and I'll screw it up again. But it'll have to be on the weekend, obviously, for Ryan's class schedule and everything. We'll try and do. Let's try and do the first weekend of December. I gotta go to DC that week, but I think I'm home. Let's shoot for the 7th or the 8th, and we'll get together and talk about this stuff. And this time I'll actually send you a Word document letting you know what we're going to talk about ahead of time. But I just kind of like just being able to wing it. This was a ton of fun. Appreciate you guys. Anything else?
No, brother.
Aaron's getting the hook. All right. Okay, guys.
My son is desperately wanting to go to dinner, so.
Awesome. Okay.
Hey, come here, boy.
Get Aiden on the camera here. That's what I'm talking about. We're following his life on Facebook.
Yeah. He's the only one that gets pictures on my Facebook, so.
Yeah.
I'm too fat and old.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
I will talk to you soon. Yep. All right, Ryan. Thank you very much.
All right.
What you got in the fridge back there? What is that all about?
It's car part magnets. Anytime I buy car parts, they send me a magnet. So.
Wow.
Still a gearhead. All right, buddy. Hey, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Talk to you later.
Study. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Signing off.
Hi.
We're still live, so.
Yeah, we're all good. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. We'll do it again soon. Had a great time. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the lighting in the room.
I didn't follow what you said.
Court
Can
time.
you phrase?
We don't like the lighting here, but it's cool. If you could hear us, and they had great lighting.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Josh.
I like the Cortana shows up on there.
And then,
Also, we're still alive.
I know, okay, Josh said something. He said, one of those are the BuzzFeed of incel reporting.
The BuzzFeed.
Aggregate and create nothing new. How dare you?
Wow.
Yeah.
Top 10 reasons why we don't like Josh.
Yeah. It's also hashtag fake news. Anyway, well, he's probably the only one I would take that from.
Really?
Yes, because he's done pretty much every one-end job there is on the planet. All right, thanks a lot, guys.